Welcome back. Let's talk about a meditation technique that involves the turning of your incoming breath into the outgoing breath. Now, our minds are always occupied by thoughts. But did you know that you could actually stop your thought at this very moment just by stopping your breath? Once the thought stops, the mind stops. So, what you're left with is a no mind state, which is really your essential self, your true self. In fact, the entire art of meditation is to bring you to this true self. And why is there so much yearning for this true self? Because this true self is the source of your consciousness. And all the anxiety and the fear and everything which is part of the mind all drops away as soon as you're seated in this true self. But you cannot stop your breath for long. So in this meditation technique, you're going to look for a natural point in which your breath pauses on its own. See, the incoming breath and the outgoing breath are not two different breaths. They are two parts of the same breath. In fact, they're not two parallel lines, but each of them are parts of a circle. So the incoming breath is one half of the circle, the outgoing breath is the other half of the circle. The incoming breath pauses momentarily before turning upwards. At this moment, you're really not breathing. So you're really in no mind state. But the moment is of such a short duration that ordinarily you will miss it. Moreover, this turning happens when your breath is touching your inner center or your true self. Now, a lot of spiritual people call it the soul, and religious people call it even God, but many people just call it pure consciousness. So it is the same pure consciousness that we are referring to here when we talk about your inner center or your true self. Your body is a big mechanism. Just like an automobile changes gears to go uphill and downhill, similarly your body's mechanism also changes gears. In fact, all of us has experienced the gear change at night when we are falling asleep. It even happens during the day. When you're angry, the gears change because that's how your body's glands are producing different hormones on different emotions. So that's like a gear change. Now, just like automobiles, when the body is changing gears, it has to go through the neutral gear. And this neutral gear is your inner center or your true self. The incoming breath passes through the same neutral gear as it is turning upwards to become the outgoing breath. This meditation technique requires you to pay attention to the turning of your breath. Now let me explain the difference between attention and awareness, because that understanding will help you with this technique. Your inner center or your true self is the source of your consciousness. So when you pay attention to something, you're narrowing that consciousness to that thing. It's like a beam of light which is being focused on that thing. That is why paying attention to two different things is difficult for most people. But awareness, on the other hand, is not about narrowing down your consciousness. In fact, it's about being with the source of consciousness. So the big difference here is that in awareness, you're more open to the sounds of the birds chirping, to some aeroplane flying, to someone talking, all at the same time. But in attention, you're like really more exclusive. So awareness in that sense is more inclusive. Also, awareness is not about paying attention, but really being more attentive. In the beginning, it's going to be always about attention, but eventually you'll fall into awareness. Now, in this meditation technique, what you need to do is pay full attention to your incoming breath as it touches your nostril on the way in. Follow the breath all the way in and be with it all the way out. Initially, you will not observe the turn, but as you practice paying more and more attention to it, eventually you'll fall into awareness. And as soon as you fall into awareness, you will observe the turn. And when you've observed the turn, that's the point at which you have realized your inner center or your true self. You'll feel the bliss as soon as you hit that inner center or true self. Come learn more about it at Joy Yoga. Reach out to us using the link below. And thank you for watching.